GM. So on the higher time frame, I mentioned this on Weekly Outlook. If Bitcoin is going to collapse with momentum, I think you're going to see something like this. If it does, and this is an if, remember, if it loses at 58, I think we slip further down into the 50s. We have a short bounce, probably another low, and then a stronger squeeze. And that's probably the place to look at exiting some bags or re-shorting rather than trying to catch the momentum. I think around the FOMC you'll probably see a rally into it before a deeper dip into the final bottom. That's still a big if. We are following that path. Bitcoin is just tearing through levels here. As I speak, it's gone through 62. I don't see anything to be overly bullish about here. This is we're very much in a breakdown here. This is a breakdown. I've seen these a million times. The bounces are short, they are weak, and there's nothing to stop price. So what could stop price? Where could we see some better structures form or setups? I mean, I look at BTC here and I see there's that daily structure level, but really we're now breaking below the trend line of this downtrend. We have a few different paths that are open to us. First one being just a continuation here, where it's unable to find any strength, find any support, goes all the way down. At that point, you probably have a bottom start to form and price rise up before another bounce and a sell-off. That's one. That's if we see an actual collapse. That's where you're going to see like a massive liquidation. You're going to see a huge red day or a few days or whatever, and a local bottom, maybe not the actual bottom. Anything else that's required for BTC? I mean, bouncing up into the 4-hour bands is probably where you'd see it chop sideways and then eventually fall over. So that'd be like this blue path here. So I'll change to blue. But yeah, I mean, literally as I speak, we're just seeing the liquidation here. I think this is the beginning of it. I don't think 60k is going to hold. I don't think that, I think it's following the weekly outlook path here. Now, if it does, if we do get a rally up, I want to look at the volume distribution of this whole trend from here to here. And you have near the highs, you've got a point control up at the top. I don't think price will reach its way all the way back to there. So I would look at the value area low from this distribution. And I would say there's probably a decent chance that Bitcoin reaches its way up to that level, which would be here, 65, as being a rally rejection point. Meaning, if we do see this bottom out like that, you might see a push into that area before a deeper decline after. So I know it looks a bit messy here, but those are some of the paths I can see for BTC. I think that when it's like this and when it's collapsing and when the price is going lower and lower and lower, eventually on the low time frames, too many shorts will pile in and it will stop and it will have some kind of bounce. But usually that first bounce gets sold into. Whether it collapses all the way down and then the first bounce is there, whether it holds here and the first bounce is to this level, or whether it follows the red path. I think there's going to be a bounce, but I think that bounce is actually going to be a selling opportunity for bears, and we actually go lower beyond that before a proper bottom can form. So from a low time frame perspective, I'm looking at BTC and I'm thinking this is a seller's market. If you're looking at longs, if you're a long only trader, or if you focus predominantly on long trades, I don't see any. Outside of day trades, yeah, people get overly zealous on their shorts. You can squeeze them, sure. But, understand that people have, if you've watched the last 2 weeks since the 7th of June, people have said this at every point. Oh, bears are going to squeeze, bears are going to squeeze. They haven't got squeezed once. Right? It's a sell-off, 4-hour downtrend. At the bare minimum, the 4-hour trend has to flip back to bullish with green bands. Until then, It's just a bear's market. Now, it's also a Monday, and we dumped right off the open on Monday. And quite often, Mondays can be trappy, where the week opens really bad, and then it turns around and reverses, and you get this strong reversal in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's a potential. And that lines up with, again, with these blue or red paths. I don't think that Bitcoin just has to collapse all the way down from the start of the week, although I've seen it before, and it can happen. But if we do see a turnaround Tuesday, Wednesday, and we start to see a rally, be mindful that that doesn't necessarily mean that we're back to bullish yet. Bitcoin has got so much work to do to get into anything remotely bullish from here. It's just not, right? We've just torn straight into all of this demand with no bounce. And I think it can hold here temporarily. But yeah, this is just not a bullish chart. Not a bullish structure, not a bullish chart. Volume rising here, each of these candles, like this 4-hour candle has still got 2 hours left, and it's already higher volume than the previous ones. So unless that turns around and closes strong green, you're looking at a very seller-dominated market. We're now below 61. We're going to head to 60 soon if bulls don't, really defend this. And overall, it's good. This is a good thing. This is healthy. This is... If you are a trader and you have patience and you view the market in terms of weeks and months and years, not in days, what do you want? You want the deepest, nastiest, most bearish red days and corrections and terrible structures, so that when it does stop and it starts to form a bottom, you can get really good entries for your longs. If you don't think the bull's over, and I don't, the deeper it goes, the better. Send it lower, make it feel like it's all dead, and we can buy other people's blood at whatever level it comes at. But to do that, you have to wait. Retests, right? Retests. Even look at the biggest collapses. Even just look at August last year. Massive collapse. What does it do? It comes back once, twice, 3 times, 4 times at that same level for retests. You don't have to buy the first one. That's just a scalper's trade, right? FTX collapse. Massive collapse, retested, held. 2 months later, it rallies up. So this always happens whenever it comes down. It comes down into a level, it gets really bad and bloody and bearish, and everyone starts to cry and complain. And then when it comes back for the retest, they don't believe it. Right? People are like, over here, oh, it's going to go lower. Like, people are convinced it's going to go lower. It's going to go lower at this point. Or FTX especially. I remember this one. It's going to go lower. I know FTX collapsed, but Binance is going to collapse next. And of course, that's not going to happen when you have this massive liquidation. So, do I think the setup is here for a bottom at this price, at this point? Nope. Doesn't really look like it. Looks more likely to break structures, if anything. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to be right. We could absolutely see a bottom here. Maybe this retest of the 60 area, maybe this is going to be one that holds. If so, you're going to want to see at least a strong rally and some kind of retest, and then buy when the bands go green again. It's a process. It takes time. And outside of a, call it a white swan reversal, like this one, we had this crazy selling with the banking collapse and then just a straight rip higher. That could happen, right? But that one, it was pushing below lows. That was literally USDC collapsing, fucking at 80 cents peg, depeg from the $1 mark. We don't have any of that yet. And so would that massive V reversal be the highest probability? No. I think that Bitcoin is more likely to just be actually bearish. It's been selling all the way from 72 now to 60. So is this a great place to start shorting? Well, obviously not on a lower time frame. It's gone down 12k, which is what, 20%, right? Nearly 20%. So with no significant bounce, not even really a sideways correction. So no, this isn't the place to start piling in to shorts. But we certainly have broken all of these levels. And for BTC, the way you want to judge if this is still bearish now, because literally as I've recorded these videos, it's gone from being within this, when I started to record, it was within this trend line, this dotted red line. And since then it's broken. So it's breaking down through all these levels. And the way you judge whether this is actually bearish and you can re-short it, or if it's bullish and you want to get long, you have to watch the bounce. These are 4-hour candles. The next bounce is going to take 1 or 2 days. And if you see stuff like this, where the impulse goes lower but it just grinds sideways, that's bearish. You want to see some kind of strength being shown in the market, where let's say it rallies back up and closes above 63 and 64 in the next couple of days, and price is barely able to spend any time there. That's a sign that the next retest is probably going to hold. Price showing that strong demand at 60, doesn't want to go there yet, pushes all the way back up. That's a good early sign. But you're not going to know. Like, I'm confident that on Thursday or Friday of this week, we'll still be talking about the same thing. We'll still be assessing the bounce to see if the bounce is strong, weak, the correction. Is it a correction before further going lower? Or is it a bullish consolidation starting to build a base for higher? It takes time. Most money's lost through emotions, right? You wake up Monday morning. So you went to sleep last night. Bitcoin's at 64K or 63, whatever. You wake up and it's at 60. People's emotions take over them. They start to short, or they start to revenge long. Say, oh, fucking, this got to be the bottom, or this is going lower. Don't allow the market to dictate your actions. You have to stick to your own processes and plans. And almost always, the best thing to do is nothing, is wait. I highly doubt that anyone's system is perfectly set. Oh, right now is the time you must buy or it's never going to come back. That's never the case. Even this March V reversal, when it first went down into it, the best thing to do was not to start getting long here, right? That's like where we're at now. Breaking down, right? People start, have to get long. Goes lower, squeezes out any people who are trying to catch the bottom. And what happens? That's Thursday, right? Zoom all the way out and go forward to Sunday. So 3 days later, that's when you can look and say, oh, could be a bottom here. And especially when it starts to break above the bands, great. Sunday going into Monday, bottom is starting to form. Days, not minutes, not hours. It's going to take days. So this is Monday. I'd say we won't have any clear idea on Bitcoin, even if it's holding 60. You won't have any clear idea until Wednesday, Thursday. So that's going to be the word of the week. Patience. GM.